Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
The purpose behind this video is to provide some specifics on our current indoor soccer season. When we look back over the course of the entire year, back to last spring, we made some big changes. There were some specific things that we wanted to include and add to the curriculum. We felt there was a big need for technical play.
Yeah, and as well consistency between all of our teams. Right now, before we went to the format we were at last year, we had a lot of coaches that were administering the curriculum, but really it varied by team. Bringing them together allowed us to add some consistency.
Yeah, and as we look over the course of the spring and fall, we saw some huge gains. So as the winter season approached, Jose and myself and Declan started to talk about, what is training going to look like? What are the matches going to look like? And if we look at the leagues that we traditionally have played in, we felt that wasn't going to continue to build on what we were doing.
Yeah, it really didn't emphasize a lot of the technique and speed of play and things we were trying to emphasize. It just, some are familiar with the play at for example, at the Schaumburg Indoor Facility. You'd see a keeper kick it all the way to the other keeper, and we might see a tennis match of keepers playing the ball back and forth.
Yeah, and we're forcing our teams to play a certain type of soccer. For example, asking our goalkeepers to play it out of the back. Well, in that environment, it's probably not the best thing to do, although soccer-wise, it makes sense to us. So, we wanted to change the leagues that we were going to put our players in to help reinforce two very specific things: technical play and speed of play. We also wanted our training in the indoor season to help support those two goals. So when you come to the Sports Center on Monday and Wednesday, or Tuesday and Thursday, you're going to see a lot of activities that focus on technical play and speed of play. When it comes to match play, we felt that futsal matches would be more appropriate for what we're trying to achieve than the traditional leagues that are playing at the Sports Center.
Yeah, futsal really does emphasize a lot of what we're trying to teach. The problem with it is a unique game, and for the team that isn't experienced, it could be a very frustrating game if you go up against a team that's been playing a lot. Most of our families, when we mentioned futsal, we mentioned to the kids, I would say less than 10% of them understood what the game was. So we felt putting all of our teams into a futsal league might lead to a recipe of disaster, because we really have this spectrum of abilities, technical abilities, and fitness as part of it as well.
Yeah, the one thing, when it comes to not just the futsal training or the futsal match play, or who are we going to put in what league, one question we always ask ourselves with any change that we make, or any addition that we make, or any choice that we're confronted with is, what's best for the player? So when we were coming into the indoor season and trying to decide on what we wanted to do with match play, that was the first question that we asked. And the answers varied. We ended up coming up with 3 different approaches.
Yeah, 3 approaches we felt would be best. There's a league up in Palatine, Stephead Sports, and that league has a lot of teams that are very familiar with the game and a few newer teams. But we thought, rather than put all of our teams into that league, we thought a better approach would be, let's take our more experienced, our more very technical teams, give them a chance. We're worth taking a chance in this new environment with those teams. And that's our black level team, boys teams, that we decided, let's put them into it.
Yeah, so then with the red and gold teams, as well as the youth girls teams, we felt that we wanted to be able to control the speed of their development when it comes to that style of soccer. Putting them in a league that we have no oversight, kind of could create a recipe for disaster. And we didn't want that to happen. We didn't feel it would be best for the kids. So we decided to create our own inter-club futsal training program. So twice a week, our red and gold, we have 2 days a week where our red and gold teams and our girls teams come to train futsal, match play, and training. It's so far over the last week, it's proven to be great. I've really enjoyed it. Even from the beginning of our first session to the end of our first session, I noticed kids getting better. The speed of play, recognizing different angles of play, really started to show that this decision to not put the red, gold, and youth girls teams into the leagues that our black teams are in I think is the right one.
Yeah, the red and gold teams, they understand the technique. They attempt the technique. I see them execute it. But then when you throw the competition in there, if it's too strong, they leave it. They leave it behind, and then you go back to bad habits. I think the environment we've created now has lifted their level of confidence. And I'll tell you, in week 1, I was pretty excited with some of the bad habits that I saw go away immediately, and the level of confidence to execute some of those moves.
You know, perfect example. If we take our red, gold, and youth girls teams and we throw them in a league, and mistakes are made, those mistakes can't really be corrected. We can't stop a match and say, "Hold on for a second, come back here. I want to show you what you should have done in this situation." We can't correct the team shape by walking out onto the court. But in our own program, where we're in charge of it, that's exactly what we're doing, and that's what the kids need. I know it's not as flashy as maybe an official formal league.
There's no trophies.
There's no trophies, but when it comes down to what's best for kids, we've got to take the amount of pressure that exists in a training environment or in a match. We've got to control that pressure. And with the interclub training program for the red, gold, and youth girls teams, we can control the amount of pressure that we place on them within that training environment, which allows them to be successful, which allows them to make a mistake, receive correction, feedback, and then be able to execute it with success. That ultimately will help their development.
And there are some unique rules to the game of futsal. This allows us to give them a chance to understand the transition of play, to understand how to restart play in an instructional environment, as opposed to throwing them into a competition and seeing another team run right past them because they understood the rules better than some of our teams.
One thing we're going to do during the indoor season, just like we do with the outdoor season, is we're going to evaluate it week to week. We're going to make changes so that we can achieve those 2 goals that we have right now. That's to improve our technical play as well as our speed of play. If we feel over the course of the indoor season, the outdoor season, our kids next winter are at a level that will provide them with success in a traditional futsal league, then perhaps all of our teams will go there, but we'll also have a lot more information at that time. We'll have an understanding of what that level of competition is like. Our kids will be more familiar with the style of play. And so we'll just be in a better position. Our players will be in a better position where they can be successful.
Yeah, this is the first year we've tried to put this together. And did everything go perfect in terms of the scheduling? Not really. There's some things we would do differently. The schedule is one example. We had a lot of parents that gave us feedback and said, hey, we wish there would be a little more heads up in terms of the time and days that we would have the schedule. But understand, we had to arrange scheduling the matches at a local school, and get the dates from them. And so there were a lot of questions that we had to answer. I think definitely next year we can get this stuff a little bit earlier. But if this did throw you off and you couldn't commit because you didn't know which day or what the times would be, we're still willing to let anybody that might want to join us and join the league to let us know now that we have the schedule out, and it's not too late to come in and join.
Yeah, I think that we're definitely headed in a even if we look back to last spring, I feel like that was really the beginning of this new era for our club, and we've just been continuously we're moving in an upward trajectory. Our numbers are increasing, our indoor numbers are increasing. Just the level of play, the training sessions are more focused and goal-oriented towards technical development. And I think that consistent focus has led to some big gains for kids. We're excited. We hope that you come out there and you kind of see the differences that have been implemented, the different changes that we've implemented, and we'll see you out on the field. Thank you.
Thank you.